We're live. Welcome to the Rome Show. I'm your host, Go Rome. I got a special guest today, Justin. How you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me, Rom. It was great to be with you. What a few weeks ago on a live, and now here on like a full fledged podcast episode.
Right, and we were supposed to have you on another podcast that I was doing, but things happened, so I put you on my podcast. So I appreciate you for coming on the podcast, bro.
Hey man, I'm glad to be here.
So Justin, you're an author, which is a very, very difficult thing to do. It takes time, work, effort, researching, learning. Um, let's start with the truth. What is a story you've been carrying your entire life, and how has it shaped the way you see the world as an author and a poet?
Well, the story that I had been keeping with me for my entire life was what I wrote in my memoir. It was within. It'd been within since it started. So it was like years in the making. So I guess when I really got that bug or that itch to write it, that's when it really kind of started to come out. And then after it came out, you know, getting that creative jolt, I guess, if you will, kind of pushed me to wanting to do more within the same creative space. Which is the writing space. So that's kind of like what I sort of rested on after that. So yeah, that's where after that, that's when like the poetry came and the additional the fictional pieces, which are sort of like budding as we speak. So yeah, that was the impetus to everything. And it was that initial bug or pitch to just get into like telling your story.
Right, interesting. And if you can remember, um, do you remember the day that you said, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna put my all into it, and I'm gonna do it.
I don't remember. Well, I remember the day in the sense of like I remember the moment, and it was when I was using my work computer to do things that were not work related. And when I started doing that, I was like, you know what, you might need to change fields here because you're kind of spending your time um, on the job doing things that you're not really supposed to be doing.
Changing careers, I respect people that change careers, like start their own business or whatever it is. So I
Hmm.
salute you. I salute you. Um, how was it like when you stop doing the job and you start becoming a full author, full poet, and you're like on the rough days where it's not happening yet. You didn't come out with no books yet. You don't really know much, and you're trying to find people who can kind of guide you. How did you get through those beginning days?
The beginning days, a lot of research, I guess you might say. Looking at what others who were in the same or have been in the same position kind of did. That was a big deal to me. Seeing how they got through it. Um, because I always feel like in a creative space, a lot of times we're all kind of in this together. Even though not literally, but that's kind of like how I feel. So I started to look towards those who had done what I was looking to do before I had done it. So that really kind of helped me get through a lot of. I mean, there's tough times. I mean, tough times today, tough times yesterday. So it's never gonna stop. But to answer your question though, like that's what I did to get through those moments.
Right, and the the real pressure, the real pain, like that day, you break it down, you're crying, you're trying to figure it out. Um, how'd you get through that time, that moment?
With the mindset of you've got something bigger ahead of you. That's what I think. Like almost every day is like every day when I get a rejection. I mean, before we got on this, I got a rejection this morning. You know, this is tough. Um, and I just had to like clear my head in a brief moment and say to myself, there's something bigger at stake or in store, and you are going to do it. And not everybody's going to get it in the process of you doing it. So, I had to, reset, recalibrate, and say to myself, you're going to do it. And if somebody doesn't, jump on board right away, that's cool. They're not supposed to be part of it then. That's totally fine. And you can look at so many people in the arts in the past who have had a similar sort of journey process of rejection. Some of the ones who are the best to ever do it have dealt with that. So I can't assume that I'm any better than that. Jay-Z got rejected by every record label. Look at him.
Right. Speaking of Jay-Z, I gotta ask this because I know you're into like hip hop and stuff.
Sure.
Is Jay-Z really the GOAT though?
In my opinion,
Yeah.
I give him GOAT status.
Okay.
I do. I entertain, I think there are multiple GOATs in hip hop. I mean, I would love to hear your opinions as well, but I mean, Jay, Nas, Wayne, M, Ye, DMX. No, I mean, Pac, Big. These are goated MCs in my opinion. With I think Jay being the top, but I'm open. Like if it's not Jay for someone else, I get it. I think Kanye's had the most classic albums personally. Like
Okay.
that run, I think of College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, 808s, Watch the Throne, um, Life of Pablo, Yeezus. That's 7 albums right there. I mean, that's crazy. Like that album run is ridiculous. But I don't think he's up on Jay's level as a rap. Oh, as a rapper. But as a creator, yes. I mean, some of the other artists that I think are goated have like 2 or 3 classics. Like Wayne might have a couple. I think Eminem has like 3 that are probably considered classic. I don't know how many Jay has that are classic. I mean, Reasonable Doubt, the Black Album, uh, American Gangster, maybe. I think Volume 2 is classic. Personally, that's 4. Um, but yeah, I think Jay's the GOAT. I have him as my GOAT. So yeah.
Do you consider him as like mega superstar status?
Say that again.
Do you consider him as like mega superstar status?
Yeah, I do.
Me, I feel like I always been a fan of Romeo Miller,
Okay.
and I feel like he's kind of bigger than Jay Z. Not with like lyrically, but like just like overall.
All right.
Because I'm sure people like fainted when they see him like at concerts and stuff like that.
Well, I don't think anybody's fainted at a Jay-Z concert like they do at like a Michael Jackson concert.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's that level.
Okay.
Um, but nobody is, I guess. Like that's like, I mean, MJ is another category, I guess. you might say.
That's a different league right there.
In general, I mean, I know there's the debate between like, is Breezy, is Breezy like, the MJ of our time, or is he comparable? I don't subscribe to that. And I love Chris Brown, but I don't think that like he's MJ level. But that's a different discussion,
Yeah, I seen Chris Brown live.
Yeah.
He's pretty close, but he's not like
Well, what do you
the
mean?
MJ.
Have you seen Mike live though?
Nah, I never seen him live.
Then how do you can't compare them then?
That's true. That's true. Because of Chris, the show that I seen Chris Brown, I could only imagine a MJ show.
And I think Chris Brown's a better dancer than Michael Jackson.
Mm,
I just don't think he's as iconic of a dancer.
yeah.
I think he's better, but not as much as much of an icon. That's different. And I think Mike's a better singer.
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
Some people don't think that, Tank, Tank said infamously that he thinks Chris Brown's a better singer than Michael Jackson. I disagree, but Tank's a pro, he's been in the business for a long time. And that's his testimony. I disagree on every account, but that's his opinion.
Right, cool. Dope conversation real quick. Next question I got for you. You've been recognized for your work, award-winning status. That doesn't happen by accident. What moment made you realize I actually have something powerful to say?
It was after I started getting poetry published. That was when I recognized that I thought that I had something powerful to say. Because then it wasn't like one person here or one person there. Then it was, collective groups that would sit and marinate with my work. And when I started getting recognition on that accord, that was when I kind of realized that maybe this could take like a life of its own, even so, you still get rejected all the time, but at the same time, knowing that people were in rooms discussing my work and then deciding that it was reputable enough to put forth within their publication, that was when it really happened for me.
When you got that award, how'd that feel? That's a big thing.
Oh, that was great. I remember I was at a Mexican restaurant ordering takeout, and I saw the email come through, and that was a really euphoric moment for me.
Did you cry or not?
No. If I did, I would admit it totally, but I would not. I cry for much cheesier reasons.
How many times have you cried for moments you were proud of yourself in your career? Like, damn, I did this. I'm proud of myself.
Honestly, none.
Okay.
I cry for like the last episode of Seinfeld. I'm not even like bullshitting. Like I cry for like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I haven't had a moment that's hit me in a creative space where I've cried as of yet. I hope that happens soon, but I have not as of yet.
It will, because the things you accomplishing already, there's only bigger things to come.
Hey man, I hope so, because every day, I'm putting forth some more effort every day into something that I think is bigger than myself,
Right. I got another one. What's the mindset shift or instant decision you used when doubt or fear shows up in your creative life?
To keep pushing. Because every time I get an idea that inspires me, it's almost as if whatever negative emotion I previously harvested gets pushed aside. And then it's like a new, like a reset kind of thing.
And is there anything like personally you do, like go for a long walk, hit the gym, work on a new script or something?
Oh, the gym, the workouts, that's crazy because that's what does it the most. That puts me in a mindset where it goes the endorphin boost that I get from exercise is like afterward, if I get a rejection, I don't even really care.
Right. After a while, you get used to it, and it's like it's a part of the game, and it's
Yeah.
just more fuel to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I'm feeling now. Like you just have to read it, internalize it, move on, relax, chill, reset, keep pushing forward because if you really believe in yourself, then you'll get done what needs to get done.
Yeah, gotta stay focused and disciplined too.
Yes, focus, almost like hyper focused, even. I mean, I think that the notion of being hyper focused is extremely important when it comes to becoming like a major player in a creative field. So, I mean, when I'm like locked in, I'm locked in, like hardcore, and I love that feeling.
Right. Do you have self meetings with yourself?
Yeah, I mean, every night I go to sleep, it's like a self meeting.
Right. How important is the self meetings to you?
It's integral. It definitely is integral. I have them when I go to sleep, when I wake up, before I start writing, before I start like making pitches, to agents and all that kind of stuff. It's they're not like scheduled self meetings. They're extemporaneous and they're off the cuff, but they definitely have their place and they're very, very important.
Yeah, I do them daily, at least two a day.
Yeah,
I got 'em.
yeah.
What's one thing that you haven't done yet that you want to do with your brand and your poetry and stuff?
I want to get on the New York Times bestseller list.
Ooh,
I want to have something I've written become represented in cinema, and so those are the biggest two. I would like to have a best-selling poetry book in the near future as well. So that's on the horizon or the agenda for me. I mean, I'm always writing poetry, and some of it that hasn't been published yet, I keep for a poetry book that I'm working on.
good one, good one. A lot of creators wait for inspiration. What do you say to the version of you that didn't feel ready but had to create anyway? You're like, I gotta get this done anyways.
That version of me happens every day, to be honest with you. Where I'm like, I should have done that. I should have done this. Um, and then what kind of like I guess like cures it is just doing it.
Okay.
Once I start, then it's hard for me to pull back, and then I wonder why I didn't start. But this
Good.
is something I struggle with like on a daily basis. Like I was writing yesterday, or no, I'm sorry, 2 days ago, a music article with a friend of mine named Ashley Boone. We're writing this Michael Jackson article for a music publication, and I was like, man, you kind of sat on this for a minute, get it done, and I started to work, and I was like, man, why didn't I get it done like weeks ago? But deal with that. Like that's just the way of a creator, I guess you might say.
All right, good one. What's a belief you had to unlearn in order to become the writer and artist and poet you are today, right now?
I had to unlearn that there are restrictions on yourself. Once I stopped recognizing um, outward or I mean, I guess restrictions from which I guess arose from that imposter syndrome, that maybe you're not like right to be here or fit to be here. um I had to unlearn those thoughts. so that I could just do what was necessary for me. Because sometimes I would think, man, you don't really belong here. You never really studied this. And then like an English professor would be like, I love your work. And I'd be like, holy shit. Like, okay, well, I definitely do deserve to be here. And just to kind of like keep that mindset working.
That happens.
Yeah.
Like us. Sometimes you go somewhere and they're like, yo, I'm the smallest one in here. I do not belong here.
Yeah, but you really do, and that's the thing is like when you realize that you really do belong in those circles, it expands your mind, your horizon, and how you internalize your own work even.
Yeah, I feel like that's how you really grow too, because then you're learning, you're experiencing.
Absolutely.
Um, so when people read your work, what do you hope they feel about their own life? Like, and what do you hope it changes in their life from your work?
I hope people realize that they can do it. um Most of my poetry is micro nonfiction. I did write a memoir, and now my work is fiction based. But I just hope that they realize they can delve into the crevices of their mind and do what it is they want and put forth with what they want to do. It might take some learning, some recalibrating. There could be like a crazy learning curve. I've dealt with that myself. And that's okay. It's been a journey. It's going to be a journey. Like until the day I die, it's going to be a journey. And that's okay to embrace. And I think that others who read what I'm doing, I hope they internalize that as well. That you can do it. You can put your heart and your soul into your work, and you can make it. It just might take some adjustments. It might, like, I mean, it might be a learning curve, like I said earlier. um and it might encompass things you don't really want to do. You might have to sit with a piece for a long time. Like last night I was sitting with this paragraph for 2 hours, and I didn't know what to do with it. I knew what I wanted to do, but I couldn't find the words to make it fit. And then I did, and it just took some time. And those moments are okay. And I've got to tell myself that. So, with respect to your question, that's what I would tell others who are sort of like, in a similar space.
Good one. That was a good one. You know, every author, poet, artist, we all have like a breaking point. What moment almost made you stop writing completely, and what pulled you back in? Like, this is it.
When I first started querying my new novel, and I was getting some rejections, and I was getting some like, we want to read more kind of responses. The rejections sent me into like a a downward spiral though at first. So I hit a point where I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not that good. But then what pulled me out of it was that the responses were generally um, not right for me, or not sure what to do with this, which kind of clued me into like, okay, well, that's a fair assessment. And I didn't intend for this to be right for everyone. It's intended to be specific. And sometimes the biggest things that impact culture are like the disruptive pieces. And those disruptive pieces are not fit or right for everyone to get behind or to market. So after those rejections, I kind of wrap my head around the fact that I thought I had something bigger to say. And I was like, okay, cool. You don't like it, or I'm not that you don't like it, but if you don't want to represent it, you don't want to market it, you don't feel like you can be the one to push this, great. Thank you for telling me that, and I'll move on to someone who does, hopefully in the very near future. Because I think it's bigger than what they like perceive it as, I guess you could say.
Right. I look at everything I do as big. You got to.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, the biggest artists, like Jay-Z was turned down, like from every record label. Eminem wasn't accepted until like he got on Jimmy Iovine's desk. Every A&R at Interscope said no to Eminem. He's the biggest selling rapper of all time. Um, I mean, people thought that in like the mid 70s, people thought Michael Jackson was a thing of the past. You know, so you can't put too much faith in what others say when you have this intrinsic belief in yourself, you know.
Good one. That's a good way to put it too. It's a fire episode, bro.
I mean, Stephen King's Carrie was rejected over and over and over again. I mean, I love Carrie personally, but you know, and now he's become one of the most renowned authors of all time. And his first offering was proverbially shit on, you know.
Mm-hmm. Just got to keep going. And I got one more for you, bro. If someone's listening right now, or somebody when they watch this, they see this, and who feels like they have a story but is scared to share it, what would you say to them in one direct, honest message?
Put it on paper and see how it reads to you. You know, put it on, like write it down and see what you think about it. Um, See how you internalize your own words. And if you can fall in love with your own words, then you will definitely have an audience. It might be a niche audience, it might be a massive one. I don't know, you know, but I'm just saying, like, if you can fall in love with what you are doing and you're creating, use that for what it is and propel that into something magnificent.
Well, once again, I really appreciate you for doing this, bro. Coming on the podcast. I'm gonna be promoting this like crazy. And before we go, where can everybody purchase a book? They can find your work and find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find me on socials. My main socials are, or main social activity is on Instagram at J Marlowe Writes. It's JMarlowe Writes, WRITES. There's a link on there where you can buy my memoir, Perfect Strangers, Echoes of a Black Suburban Youth. And everything that I do is posted on there pretty daily, you know, everything, you know, poems, write-ups, new ventures or endeavors like this one today with you, you know, Rome, you know, like that'll be up there soon. I have, you know, the lives that we've done are up there as well. So yeah, that's where you can hit me up.
Good one, man. Appreciate you for doing this, bro. Maybe we could do a part 2 soon.
Hey, you know me, I'm always open. So yeah, I'm down.
All right, bro. Appreciate it. So, Justin, and I'll keep in touch.
All right, bro.
All right, bro. Peace.